So, folks, welcome to episode 9 of the Ron and Bill Show. And we finally got to the sounds and the microphones and all the fun stuff. And we got a lot tonight on the mics. We've also, you know what? That's right. I need to always start. There's step list to always start a timer. A good podcaster always has a timer so they know how long they go. It's really interesting. This morning, I was listening to some of the top, there's about 10 or 15 top podcast engineers. And I was listening to a couple of them. And they were talking, actually like one of the major owners of a media host server. And they were talking about how ridiculous it is how this one organization who's a high-end media company comes up with the ideal time for a podcast of being 22 minutes. And these guys who've been in podcasting since it started, 2004 instead of 5, it doesn't make a difference. But see, I do believe, I'm sort of lying with a 22-minute system, that there's a period of time where it just goes too long or it's not really interesting. But that said, one thing, go ahead.
I was going to say, YouTube 15-minute thing makes that kind of a good number too,
Yeah. We're limited on this channel to 15 minutes. It's kind of neat. I mean, initially, until you get up to so many likes or so much interest in the show, it's limited. So we're still limited at 15, which is fine. Our last podcast, I had to cut about a minute and a half off, and it was 15 minutes. By the way, I used, we get 50 megabytes of up storage into our $5 account. On that 15-minute show, I used less than 10 because of the way I condition the sound, mono. So, hey, let's talk about sound, Ron. What do you know about sound?
Well, it comes out of your mouth sometimes, and it goes into your ears sometimes. And now the theory, electrical engineering, we had a lot of stuff, but basically, I know that sound is like the number one most important thing to do with any kind of video. It's kind of funny because people always say, oh, video, but it's sound, because people have to be able to hear you clearly or they'll switch off. So, and if you have a good quiet environment or you can simulate it, that's pretty important. A lot of distractions and noises in the background definitely detract from, what you're trying to accomplish. So anyway, lots of stuff about sound.
Well, there's some other things. Actually, sometimes some background noise, like there's a lot of interviews inside a restaurant, which sound kind of cool if they're done right. If you had the right lavalier mics and you get secondary sound, as long as there's certain kinds of sound.
It has to be random, and you can't be able to figure out what they're really saying.
And it has to be far enough away.
Yeah,
and if far enough away the sound.
If you can tune in and actually hear their conversations, then that's not good. But if it's random noise, it's okay.
What drives me nuts, we do the live stream at the Atlantis Casino here in Reno, and every once in a while, if you hit the wrong mic and it shoots across the table, you'll hear the silverware, and that drives me nuts. I can't stand the clinking of silverware on the stream.
I agree. So, what do we want to talk about tonight?
We're talking about sound. It's all about sound. So hey, let me start off on sound. We had a pretty good little discussion about sound. This is a condensing mic, which you can tell me about what a condensing mic is. You know what I'm doing is we forgot to flip you back after we started. So it's all you. That's fine. I'm going to click you so it comes back to me, folks. Hi, folks. I'm back here. So you're going to get all Ron initially. Tonight we're using a Google Plus Hangout.
I thought it would always flip. So it doesn't flip, huh?
No, it will flip, but I can set it from my side to be fixed in one position.
Ah.
So Ron is still relatively new to the world of Google, which dominates the world of communications on the internet.
Relative is I'm absolutely new.
But he is an old Microsoft, guy, that engineer, has the finest PCs you could ever want. So let's talk about sound. I think the best platform for any podcaster for sound is to stick with some kind of Mac product. Probably a MacBook Mini is the best place to start for a podcaster. And because of the complexity and the cards in the PC systems, they're not designed to have great sound.
I guess from my perspective, Apples are very easy to set up, but they also have very limited things you can set generally. You don't have as much control. And so if you end up not being able to get something working right, you got to go buy some other software.
But most creatives don't need all of the systems. That's why the whole concept of starting out by using the iPhone, which is designed to have very good sound, reasonably good sound, is a great place to start a podcast.
Yeah, except for me.
and the next place, well, that's an iPhone 7, which is really unique.
Yeah.
I'll have to figure that out. People have different voices. So the iPhone said we have condensing mics and dynamic mics. I think that's something you need to understand. This is a dynamic mic. This is a condensing mic. So show us your mics. I guess you can't really show us your mics.
Yeah, sure, I can show it.
There it is.
This is what I'm using right now. It's a Shure SM7B.
I've got the PR40. You've got the Shure, and both are excellent mics. Believe it or not, I would probably go with a Shure for my high-end mic over the PR40, but I still love the PR40. Shure gives you a little bit more depth.
Yeah, it's a good mic. I've been very, very happy with it. I think it has a little better bass performance, or just doesn't feel as tinny. And the condenser mics tend to pick up everything in the room, the reflections, and this is more of a cardioid pattern, so you have more directional control of the sound. But I think we're both running it through a processor.
Yeah, no, I would not. Again, we're going to go the second part of this. You're going to come up on your MacBook Pro, and we're going to hook in the dynamic USB mic and show you how good it does sound.
Well, I can also put the camera on the 286 if they want to see it working right now.
Yeah, go ahead. I could do the same thing. Actually, I got my little camera right here. So the idea is you're listening on a podcast, so we got to explain what we're showing.
Okay, so
locking the setup here.
There's this. Is that yours? Oh, that's. I'm like looking at your screen, going, "Why the camera's not moving the same way?"
One thing you got when you're doing a
test.
A Google Plus Hangout, you got to go very slow. So go ahead. I'm going to lock it onto yours.
Oh, okay. I thought you were okay. In that case, let me move it. And let's see here. Okay, that's the 286. And you can see when you're talking, you have the compressor. Those lights on the
from left to right. Left side you're starting.
So there's a preamp. There's a compressor. There's a de-esser. So it doesn't have that S sound.
Yeah.
There's enhancers of both the bass and the lows and highs. There's also an expander, which basically kills the background noise, the hisses and the fans running, things like that. And there's the gain control that runs it into a mixer. I'm just using this little mixer here. It's a USB mixer, although I'm not using it USB. I'm actually taking it straight into an audio input on the back of my PC. So anyway, that's my little setup here.
And I'll show you mine real fast. It's pretty much the same. Let me go click me back on. Probably a good practice when you're doing this is to wait until it focuses, not move it, because bandwidth is eaten up by video when it's moves a lot. There's mine. You can see the expander just like yours. And the settings are pretty close to yours. Also, if you'll see, I'm very close. I'm within an inch or 2 or 3 inches of my microphone, which is right here. So isn't that a beautiful picture there? I could be like Trump. Beautiful picture. Amazing. So let me click back onto you and me.
So yeah, so that's the setup I have on the Shure SM7B. And you can pull this foam off, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it might change the sound a little bit, but you might not be able to tell since YouTube isn't the super highest thing. But there's
actually,
different foam.
YouTube does very well. When you're doing this kind of media, it does as well as anything that we have. Skype sometimes does real well.
Well, one of the things that it comes with a smaller foam and it comes with this big wind foam. And I've read someplace that the bigger foam is actually better for broadcast, podcast kind of stuff. That the thinner, smaller one is better for vocals, for singing, that kind of stuff. And you can take it off completely and just put a pop filter on it if you want to just really get into it.
We're at 9 minutes. I want to finish up something very fast because we're going to go over. We're going to cut this. We're going to splice this into. You're going to have you pull up your MacBook Pro and go on the ATR 2100. So this is the ATR 2100. It's a USB mic. It's very good. It's dynamic and also has a connector for the TRX right here for a mixer. And then there's also for your iPhone, you can plug this into an iPhone. It's another iRig for Mac made, and this has great sound for your iPhone.
Hey, one thing I could do before I go is turn off the compressor, the whole 286, just run it straight through. So I can bypass all the processing. So I'm going to do that really quickly here.
Okay, we'll do that.
So
while you're doing that, I'm going to pull up another little system. This is a really nice system. It's 2 lavalier mics, very inexpensive. And it is from iRig Lab and goes into your iPhone. Excellent step up for your next step up. Go
Okay,
ahead.
so now Bill, stop talking. I'm going to let you hear. This is the 286 without any kind of processing. It's just using the preamp running right into the mixer. And so that's what it sounds like. And then I'm going to flip the switch.
Did you hit bypass?
Yeah, now it's actually running through the whole system. So you'll hear probably a sharper, maybe a little deeper, but it's got a little more life in the voice.
Do that again.
So now this is basically, 1 second. Okay, this is bypassed completely. So now this is just a preamp going straight through. And now this is with all of the various processing going on. So hopefully
I'm going to do the same thing. Okay, now I'm bypassing 1, 2, 3. I'm bypassing. And now I turn the bypass back up, off, 1, 2. Excuse me, it's back on, 1, 2, 3. So anyway,
it's not just louder. It actually is clearer. There's a lot of enhancements to the voice.
You really should be podcasting for about 90 days before you buy a 286 and a mixer, because that'll be another set of headaches. You've got so much to learn when you start this business. Hey, so let's don't go away, Ron. Stay on for a couple minutes. We're going to stop the live recording right now. So say goodbye.
I'm going to sneeze.
Oh, don't sneeze. Oh, you can't sneeze. No, I'm supposed to take sneezes out. Okay. So live is coming off, and we're going to jump on over to the MacBook Pro, but stay on.